Yo, what's going on, guys? Wilder, Sean, what's up, man? This slate is something else. Quite the circus. What's going on, Conrad? You're always in there, man. Wait for people to start getting in, but yeah, crazy slate. I don't know if I like the news coming out this early. I think I would prefer it more like an hour before lock, just so not as many people have time to adjust. Just saw PG out, then went to swap out to another small forward and saw Durant out too. Yeah, I mean, small forward is a weak position today. Working on a computer has its benefits for sure. I get that. Good show last night with the pivots off Giannis. Appreciate it. Yeah, no problem, man. Yeah, I was already really high on Buddy Hield, but then once I knew that the game was for sure going to stay close, really liked him more. And then obviously Eric Bledsoe, big boost with Giannis less time off the court. Are Westbrook and Mitchell auto locks on both sides? Yeah, I think Westbrook is. Not sure about Mitchell, though, just because there's so many good plays today. I'm really trying to gauge and rank how much I like these guys compared to each other, because obviously Klay Thompson's going to be a great play against Orlando. Even though Orlando's been a really good defensive team as of late, and I think Dennis Schroeder is one of the best shooting guards on the slate. Super cheap. But Mitchell, yeah, great play. I haven't changed my mind on my thoughts on him, and especially with Raul Neto out, that means Mitchell's going to be starting at point guard, and they're going to slide everyone down, move O'Neal to start at small forward or shooting guard, I guess. But Mitchell's starting at point guard, and without Neto, Exum, Rubio, obviously a boost in his assist percentages. Usage goes up a bit as well. So, yeah, I love Mitchell tonight. He's great. Hey, no problem, Tim. That's what I'm here for. Yeah, and if you guys aren't already members, if you join with Locks, you can join our Slack chat. And when things break like that, I try to be there as much as possible. I'm in there pretty much all day, and then at night I try to be there as much as possible. I was at dinner when that Giannis news broke, but I tried to help you guys as much as I possibly could at that time. Townslow owned helps me a lot. Yeah, man. I was already on Towns over Giannis before, so that Giannis being limited, that really helped us out. And then Towns went off anyway, so he was one of my favorite plays of the day. Him and LeBron were my favorite studs, and they both paid off handsomely. And it was so annoying with the LeBron thing, because I like LeBron a ton just because Rondo's coming off the bench, so he's starting at point guard. Obviously, he's going to play better when Lonzo Ball and Rondo aren't off the court because he's going to be handling the ball more. So, yeah, it made me like LeBron more, but when Rondo was announced as starter like a minute before, that kind of sucked, but he still paid off, luckily. Do you like the Knicks backcourt today? I'm not messing with Knicks anymore. There's no need. It's a 6-game slate. You can avoid it. I think they're good GPP options. Like, I think Mitchell Robinson's fine for GPP, but would rather play guys like Steven Adams or Miles Turner. Any love for Markieff? Yeah. So I think one of the bigger things on the day is to see who benefits the most from the Thunder with Paul George off. Obviously, it's going to be Westbrook and Schroeder going to get the biggest bumps. But I think instead of playing like Diallo at the 3 or something, I think they're going to slide either Markieff Morris or Jeremy Grant. They're 6'9", 6'10". Move them to the 3 and replace them. So that's a huge boost to both of them. So because if they give Markieff Morris the start at the 3, that's going to leave more minutes for Jeremy Grant at the 4. So he'll resume what he was doing earlier in the season when Markieff wasn't there, just because Markieff Morris and Jeremy Grant pretty much exclusively just split those 4 minutes. So, yeah, with George out, I think Markieff Morris is a very sneaky play. I haven't heard many people talking about him. And then I think Jeremy Grant is one of the best value plays on the entire day. Any love for Adele? Yeah, nah, not much. I think I prefer Markieff Morris. Yeah, guys, if you guys enjoy these streams, please drop a like. You think of Thad Young? Yeah, I think with Sabonis still out, his minutes are a bit more secure, even though Sabonis doesn't really play at the 4 all that much. But yeah, I don't mind Thad Young. But I liked him more earlier in the day when all these great plays weren't out. But now more plays have come out. I don't like him nearly as much, just because of other players that I like more. But I still think he's a great play. Thoughts on Clay tonight? Yeah, I was looking at it. So when I was looking at with Kevin Durant off the court, you can't just take Kevin Durant off the court and then run the numbers just because DeMarcus Cousins just came back. So I think to get a more proper look at like what the situation is going to be, you have to put DeMarcus Cousins on the court and then take Kevin Durant off. And there's not really many minutes to go around in that situation. Like Stephen Curry's only played 24 minutes this year with Durant off and Cousins on. And with Cousins playing 31, 32 minutes now, it's kind of hard to predict. Klay Thompson in 110 minutes averages 1.14 fantasy points per minute, 31.7% usage rating. Don't mind him. But the guy I really like is DeMarcus Cousins. In 134 minutes with Durant off the court this year, he has a 36% usage rating, averaging 1.47 fantasy points per minute, which is pretty crazy. I think he's really cheap on FanDuel. On DraftKings, he's 7.9K. I got to decide between him and Rudy Gobert for a couple hundred more. But Nikola Vucevic, as good as he is offensively, he's not quite the defensive stalwart to defend DeMarcus Cousins. I think Cousins is a great play today. Vucevic, yeah, I think Vucevic is he might go hidden tonight. I don't know. 9.4K on DraftKings is way too cheap. I think that with Durant out, I might like him more than a guy like Nikola Jokic, which is hard for me to say. And I kind of feel silly even saying that just because Jokic is too cheap at 10K still. It's going to be tough. Vucevic, the only thing with him is that he really just doesn't get those high minutes like the other studs. He doesn't get those 36, 38 minutes. He plays in the 34-minute range, which I don't mind, I guess. But I think I might pay 600 more for Jokic than Vucevic, even though I think Vucevic is going to keep them in this game. Adams might get run off the court. Yeah, man. Defensively, he hasn't been that great lately. I'm not going to – I still think he's an amazing defender. But they're going to talk about that game a bit more, yeah, they're going to start Jonah Bolden. And like I said earlier in my video, Mike Scott played 30 and 31 minutes last 2 games. Now Boban is out with Embiid. But last game, Jonah Bolden ran into some like really, really bad foul trouble. And that's why Mike Scott got a lot of that run. And they can't play a guy like Mike Scott against Steven Adams. He'll get out rebounded like crazy. There'll be a lot of putbacks, I can tell you that, if that happens. So I think everyone's going to play Mike Scott today for 3.8K, but Jonah Bolden for 4K, I think could possibly be a better play, could be a sharper play. They're going to need his size up against Steven Adams. And he averages just under a fantasy point per minute this year, as opposed to Mike Scott averaging like around 0.75 fantasy points per minute. So if Bolden can stay out of foul trouble, I think he might end up being the better play than Mike Scott, even though I still think you can project Mike Scott for 20, 30 minutes just because he can play the 3, 4, and the 5. So I think Mike Scott's still safe, but I think Jonah Bolden is a great GPP play today. Bam or Olynyk? I'm going to take Bam. Bam still played more minutes than Kelly Olynyk yesterday, even though he ran into early foul trouble in the first quarter. But no, Bam's the guy that they're going to want out there, and they're going to want him up against Clint Capella, and he's just significantly cheaper on both sides. So yeah, I like Bam quite a bit more than Kelly Olynyk. They were out the same guys yesterday with James Johnson and Whiteside, and Olynyk and Bam Adebayo got in foul trouble, and Olynyk still only played 29 minutes. So hard for me to be that heavy onto a guy like Kelly Olynyk. Then always getting hurt when he has a chance to shine is funny as hell. Yeah, I mean, all this year, Rubio's missed plenty of games this year, but every game he's been out except one, Neto was healthy. So I was expecting Neto to get the start today and be one of the better value plays on the day. But now that he's out, it's pretty obvious where they're going to go. Mitch's going to start at the point, and then Royce O'Neal's going to get 28, 30 minutes, I expect. Tyus Jones if he starts again or Favors. I'll take Tyus Jones in there. Because I at least know Tyus Jones will play 30+ minutes. Guy like Favors really is just going to be playing 24, 26 minutes a game. It is a tough matchup against Indiana for Tyus Jones, but he's not really a shooter, so that doesn't really bother me all that much. Gets his points elsewhere. Capella, yeah. Capella at 6.7K is one of the better center plays of the day, especially point per dollar for cash games. I mean, it's hard not to like him. If they continue to take Kenneth Faried, if Kenneth Faried stays on the bench and they keep PJ Tucker out there at the 4, it really boosts the rebound percentages of Clint Capella. And the guy, he played 41 minutes last game. I know it is a back-to-back, but we saw earlier in the year, this guy was playing 37, 38 minutes a game before his injury. So if he's fully back and he is how he was earlier in the year, he was like 8K plus, and now he's 6.7K against a Miami team without Hassan Whiteside and James Johnson. Yeah, I like Clint Capella quite a bit tonight. Is Robinson too expensive on FanDuel? Yeah, it's weird. I think I prefer Steven Adams and Miles Turner for a bit cheaper than him in cash games. I think Mitchell Robinson's completely fine in GPPs, but it's hard for me to like anyone from the Knicks. I don't know what they're doing. I mean, they could play Henry Ellenson, who's on a 10-day contract right now. It's going to be, they already announced that they were going to sign him after it. He could get minutes too. It's just hard for me. I don't know where they're going each and every night, and that's why I can't trust it in cash games. And especially, it's not like it's a 3-game slate like it was the other night. There's at least 6 games on the slate, so you don't have to go there. But I think he's going to be popular, and I would take my chances that the Knicks, Fizdale does something wrong. But he could still do well in 20-something minutes regardless. I guess he's fine. He's a little too expensive for me. What's up, Zip? Steven Adams or Capella? I'll probably take the savings on Steven Adams. I mean, he should be able to bully Jonah Bolden, and if Bolden somehow gets in foul trouble or gets run off the court by Steven Adams, I mean, they really have no one. They have Amir Johnson, who's been out of the rotation, or an undersized Max Scott. Thoughts on Markieff Morris? If you rewind a bit, I talked about Markieff Morris. I think he's a solid play today. I want to see what the starting lineup is, but that game starts an hour after lock. We might hear. Since the injury has already come out, we might know earlier. Scott or Royce? I'll take the savings on Royce and the security in the minutes. I think Scott, you can still project him for 28 to 30 minutes, like Royce. But I feel much more confident that Royce gets it than Scott. Favorite small forward plays? Yeah, it's ugly today. I really did like Paul George before, but if we're talking about on DraftKings, I like Tobias quite a bit tonight. And then for values, I like Royce O'Neal quite a bit. On FanDuel, I like Royce O'Neal. He's just over 4K. Then it gets ugly. I don't mind Jake Crowder. I don't like Bojan Bogdanovic with Domantas Sabonis out. I think he's solid. It's just a rough position today with 2 of the studs out. Small forward already is one of the weaker positions day to day. Adebayo or Bolden? Adebayo for sure. Adebayo is probably the best play on the slate. I need a shooting guard. Give me 3. Give me a top 3. Any value don't matter. Depends on what side. Because if we're talking about drafting, I like Curry. I like Dennis Schroeder. Klay Thompson's solid. Capella or Turner? I'll probably take Capella there. Aaron Gordon, Adams. I'll take Adams. I just never play Aaron Gordon ever, unless it's like a super pace up game, or somehow he drops under 6K. I mean, he's just like solid for his 32, 34 fantasy points, which is average, but really no upside unless he's in a fast paced game where he can utilize his athleticism. Cousins or Mitchell? Yeah, that's really close. It's probably going to be Mitchell, but it's really close. I'm really on DeMarcus Cousins tonight. One of my favorite plays on the slate. And just to talk, we got some new viewers in here, but I was looking at the numbers earlier with DeMarcus Cousins on the court and Kevin Durant off. Cousins averages 1.47 fantasy points per minute, 36% usage rate It's pretty crazy. But at the same time, in those 134 minutes, Steph Curry has only been on the court for 24 of those minutes. So, yeah, it's kind of new with the whole Golden State situation with DeMarcus Cousins in there now, especially now that he's getting 31, 32 minutes a game. Fade Schroeder Mitchell or Clay on FanDuel. It's close. I like the prices on all of them. Probably Clay in that situation though. Butler or Simmons GPP. I'll take Simmons there. 13K to split forward and utility best choices. I don't know. I'd have to plug that in. Boogie being a hacker is the only problem. Yeah, it could be a problem against Vucevic. I think it'll be fine though. Especially coming out a day off of rest. I think he'll be good to go. Tobias or Grant? Man, that's a tough one. I really like both. I might take the savings on Grant though. I think Grant's one of the better plays on this day. Because I was looking at the numbers with Paul George off the court. Russell Westbrook averaging 1.63 fantasy points per minute. Dennis Schroeder 1.14 fantasy points per minute. Jeremy Grant just at 0.88, but I do expect him to get an extended role today just because Paul George is out and they might play Markieff more at the 3, or Jeremy Grant at the 3. I think it's definitely possible. And they go a bit big against Philly. Interest in Love, yeah. I mean, as long as if the minutes keep creeping up and he can play 28, 30 minutes, he's definitely worth a look in GPPs at 6.9K on DraftKings. Was he on FanDuel? I think he's 7.5K. Yeah, 7.5K. I mean, you might be able to get away with it in cash games just because he is so efficient. His usage has been so high since he has returned, as well as his rebound percentage so high since he's returned. It's just the minutes thing. And obviously he gets a good matchup against the Knicks. I don't mind him, preferably in GPPs, but I personally wouldn't play him in cash games. I feel Ingles could be sneaky. I mean, yeah, let me bring up his numbers. Bring up the numbers with Neto, Exum, Rubio all off the court. Numbers get pretty crazy for Donovan Mitchell. Yeah, so it's pretty crazy. With Exum, Neto, and Rubio off the court, in 406 minutes, Donovan Mitchell has a 39.8% usage rating, averaging 1.34 minutes or fantasy points per minute. Don't mind him. And you were talking about Joe Ingles. I don't mind him, I guess. I think I would prefer a guy like Bojan Bogdanovic today for a bit cheaper than Ingles. This Noah sneaky play in revenge game. I mean, it was kind of a matchup-based thing because Adams was getting beat up by Jokic yesterday, or 2 days ago, I guess. And Adams got benched for Noel, and Noah was a part of the comeback because they were down pretty big in that game, and Noel and company brought them back. So I don't expect Noel to get any extended run today for any reason. I think Adams plays 34, 35 minutes. The only reason I could see Noel getting minutes is if the game truly does go small and they play Scott a lot at the 5 and Adams gets run off the court. I could see perhaps Noel getting some extended minutes, which I would make him a good GPP play, but wouldn't touch him in cash games. What is he, 3.9K? I think he averages well over a fantasy point per minute while he's out there on the court. Actually, I'm going to go look at that. No, yeah, he averages 1.13 fantasy points per minute off of the what teams are you targeting most? Yeah, probably the Warriors. I don't target the Warriors ever when they're fully healthy, but as soon as one of the guys like Curry or Durant's off the court, they become one of the more enticing teams. So them into the Thunder, and they're like the 2 highest projected teams. Warriors projected for 116.5 points. The Thunder projected for 124. Yeah, gonna want to target both these teams pretty heavily with key guys like Kevin Durant, Paul George off the court. Is Westbrook a must-have, or can we go cheap guys like Mitchell, Murray, Vooch? I mean, Westbrook's pretty close to a must-play for me personally. Taylor, did you see Philadelphia coach said Simmons will play center when Noel is on the court? I didn't say that. I mean, it'd be a solid matchup, really. Neto out, yeah. Big boost to a guy like Royce O'Neal and Mitchell as well, really. Hey, what's up, Ray? I feel like Mitchell and Russ are both must plays. I mean, yeah, they're pretty close. I mean, they're the entire offense. The only thing with Mitchell is I don't really like the matchup all that much. Unlike past years, the Nuggets usually are one of the fastest paced teams in the league, but now with Jokic and they run more plays, I believe they're the fourth slowest team in the league. So less plays going to be run for the Jazz, who are also a slow team. But the Jazz are still projected for 109 points. So if they're projected for 109, they score around there with Donovan Mitchell being the only real point guard out there. I mean, he's not even a point guard, but he's going to be running the point with Neto, Exum, and Rubio off the court. I like him quite a bit. But yeah, I think Westbrook's pretty close to a must play. Better duo for cash. Clay and Osman or Love and Schroeder? I'm going to take Love and Schroeder. See, Mam's good tonight. Yeah, I think he's solid. I like how last game or last slate, when Ams was on it, everyone played him because he was like 5.6K, and he didn't even do well, and they upped his price to 6.3. I think that's just like how the algorithm works over there on DraftKings in terms of pricing guys up. If they're higher owned, they kind of raise the price. Jeremy Grant, yeah, Jeremy Grant's an amazing play, especially on DraftKings for 4.9K, and I think he's 5.5K on FanDuel. No, he's 5.8K. I still think he's a great player over there as well. I'd rather play him than a guy like Kelly Olynyk. I actually like Steph more than Mitchell. I mean, yeah, if you have the money, I like Steph more than Mitchell as well in a vacuum for sure. Back on Bam tonight, yeah, Bam's like probably the best play on the slate. I mean, yeah, Westbrook probably my top stud to pay up for with Embiid out. Philadelphia defense goes down a bit. Yeah, I mean, just look at the rim protection. They don't have much at all anymore. At least with Boban, or they don't even have Boban anymore. They had out without Embiid, without Boban. Westbrook's gonna have a pretty easy time driving to the hoop. So to play Grant because of other value at point guard. I'm talking about Jeremy Grant, not Jerry In. I'm talking about the Oklahoma City Thunder Grant, not the Magic one. Oh, you're talking about power forward as well. Yeah, I mean power forward. Yeah, there's a ton of value everywhere. You got to decide where you want to get your value from, though. Fade Bam for Ellington? No, I'm not trusting. I'm not trusting Knicks. It's unless it's like a 3-game slate, and even then, I want to avoid them if I can. If I can avoid the Knicks, I want to. Obviously, it is a good matchup against Cleveland, and they are at home, but projecting the minutes is really, really hard. I'm not going to try to do that anymore. And there were strictly GPP plays, but I think Ellington and Robinson are the best Knicks plays if I were to choose any. But hard for me to have any confidence in that. Jokic or Curry? I'll take Curry for the savings. Capella thoughts? Yeah, I think Capella's pretty great. I talked about him a bit earlier. Fuck the Knicks. Best utility player under 5,200? Probably Schroeder and then Grant. Is Cousins a cash play for you? Yeah, he is. I mean, Jokic could go overlooked. 10K is just way too cheap. I don't know why he's just been this underpriced all year. Pretty disrespectful. It's a whatever matchup against Rudy Gobert in the Utah Jazz. Actually, I'm gonna see what he's done in the past against them. He's played him twice before, averaging 57.4 fantasy points per game in those 2 games. 10K. Yeah, I'll take that at 10K all day. And they are projected for 116 points, which is the second, or no, I take that back. It's the third most projected on the slate. What is Gobert's usage with Rubio and the rest of them? Yeah, so it's really weird. I don't know what changes, but Gobert's fantasy points per minute goes up quite a bit. With Exum, Neto, and Rubio off the court, it actually goes up 0.12 fantasy points per minute, averaging 1.39 fantasy points per minute. His usage rate only moves up 0.9%, so it's really weird. I don't know why I think it's kind of fluky, but it is in 332 minutes he averages 0.12 fantasy points more per minute. So I guess Rubio's not that bad of a play, but I'll take my chances with Cousins tonight. I think both are great plays though. Both are great plays. Is Teague even out for sure? No, he's not. He's just questionable as of now. And if he is out, I like Tyus Jones quite a bit. I still like Dennis Schroeder more than Tyus Jones if Teague is out, but and then obviously it'd be a boost to Karl Anthony Towns and his assist percentage. Yo, if you guys enjoy these streams, please drop a like, subscribe if you haven't already. Best utility at 6K, I'd probably go with Thad Young there. I don't like OKC game as much without George in there. I mean, Vegas total really hasn't budged much. The over-under is still at 239. I mean, they're still without Embiid, so it's going to be the Westbrook show. It's going to be Westbrook, Schroeder, Jeremy Grant on the Thunder side, and then it's pretty easy to see where the production is going to be from or come from on both teams. Clay's hardly ever a cash play for me. Yeah, he's never a cash play for me either. I like his usage rate. Here, let me take Cousins off. I'm gonna run the numbers with just Kevin Durant off the court this year. Yeah, Klay Thompson has it's pretty crazy. Klay Thompson has a 39% usage rating, averaging 1.29 fantasy points per minute with Kevin Durant off the court in 457 minutes, so a large sample size. So yeah, I think he's a great play. Steph Curry's a great play as well, and Thompson's been shooting great as of late. I should have saved this tweet, but I saw this tweet about how and this article I was reading about how well he's been shooting over the past month. Is that sample size with Boogie included? No, it's not. I talked about it earlier. There's really not much of a sample size with Boogie on the court and Kevin Durant off. It's about 134 total minutes that Boogie's been on the court without Kevin Durant. And about 100 of those minutes were Klay Thompson, and Klay Thompson averaged like 1.14 fantasy points per minute, which isn't the best, obviously. And then Curry was averaging just 1.34 fantasy points per minute, which I don't think is very telling. I think you can give boosts to Klay Thompson and Steph Curry compared to those numbers. And then a little bit of a dip to DeMarcus Cousins, averaging 1.46 fantasy points per minute with Kevin Durant off the court this year. Yo, what's up, Rhythm Beast? Right, yeah, that's why, yeah. I get the X concept. But yeah, only 6 games on the slate. Injury news all came out really, really early. So pretty forward slate. Invest in any high dollar 76ers fade for Curry, Westbrook, Mitchell. I wouldn't fade any of those guys for any 76ers, but my favorite one is Tobias Harris. I think he's the most consistent, and he is the cheapest one, so I like Tobias the most. And then Simmons, then Butler. Yo, what's up, Gabriel? Simmons or Curry on FanDuel? Curry pretty easily for me. Oh, yeah, I was speaking mostly on FanDuel where Tobias is like $800 than Jimmy Butler. But, yeah, I still prefer Tobias Harris to Jimmy Butler on DraftKings. Jamal Murray, DK, GVP. I mean, yeah, there's so many guys there, but they're still trying to get him those 32 minutes a game. Could be pretty competitive tonight. Got 33 minutes last game. And they really haven't moved his price at 6.2K. I was way higher on him earlier in the day, but now with all the news breaking stuff, like I would way rather have Klay Thompson than him for 300 more on DraftKings. But I guess I don't mind Jamal Murray, especially in GBP, like you mentioned. You like that more than Turner? No, I like that. Or I like Turner more. Carlson, Fournier, or D Rose? Well, I'm not going to play D Rose. He's seemingly on that minutes limit still. I think he's still playing 23, 24 minutes. So I'll take Fournier there, where I think that game stays pretty competitive and high scoring against the Warriors. So many good center plays today. Yeah, if you look at the lock sheet, there's a plethora of them. Love Robinson or Capella. I like Capella the most out of those, especially in cash games. In GPP, I'll probably take Love. I'm curious to see what Robinson's own percentage comes in at, especially after these last two games. Price keeps rising, but I guess it's hard for him to bust because he's such a high fantasy point per minute player that even if he only gets 24, 25 minutes, he probably still produces and hits value. And it's a good matchup against Cleveland as well. It's a tough rebounding matchup, though, against Kevin Love. Yeah, Cat's a good job on bigs. Yeah, you're right. I want to play Mitchell, but I think I could go up to Curry. Yeah, if you can get up to Curry from Mitchell, I would do that every time. Capella's a sleeper with no Whiteside and possibly no Fareed. Yeah, Capella is an amazing play today. As long as PJ Tucker is starting at the 4 instead of Fareed, Capella should resume normalcy of what he was doing earlier in the season. If he's getting 36, 38 minutes like he was earlier in the season, played 41 minutes yesterday. I know it is a back-to-back, but that doesn't really scare me all that much. Yeah, it's a great play at 6.7K. He should be an AK player. If Teague is out, do you like Mitchell Turner or Vooch or Curry Jones for cash? Curry Jones. I don't know what you mean. I mean, I like Curry the most out of all those guys. You think Capella will be low owned? Yeah, I think Capella will be relatively low owned today. Yeah, for sure. Wage price didn't move at all. Still 5.1K. Yeah. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, we've been on Wade all year. And as Spoelstra said not too long ago after the All-Star break that moving forward for the rest of the season, since it is his last season, he's going to be getting starters minutes the rest of the year, 28, 30 minutes. Only got 26 minutes yesterday, but performed greatly. He's just been so efficient. His usage rate's still over 30%. But Dragic is slowly but surely getting more and more minutes, which scares me off him a bit because they come off the bench around the same time. They're playing next to each other. So his assist percentage goes down a bit. But I still think he's a solid play at 5.1K. Capella's a better play than Cousins. Not like Cousins more. Marvin Bagley going to miss 1 to 2 weeks. That injury looks bad. Oh, either Vooch or Curry paired with Jones. Yeah, I like Curry more than Vooch. Talk about the same things over and over. I'm just answering the questions, man. But anyways, it is only a 6-game slate, so that's why it could seem pretty repetitive. And that's why I keep these things to only 30 minutes on 6-game slates or less. I went 3 minutes over. So I'll answer a couple more questions before I get out of here. But if you guys enjoy these, please drop a like, subscribe if you haven't already. Like Royce O'Neal with Rubio and Neto out. Yeah, I like Royce O'Neal. I think he easily plays 28 to 30. Roto grinders. I hate the matchup for Tyus, even if he starts. Pacers take care of the ball pretty well, and Tyus gets a lot of defensive stats. Yeah, I mean, Pacers one of the better defenses in the league, especially even without Victor Oladipo. Yeah, I mean, Tyus Jones gets his points in other places rather than just scoring. So that's why I don't mind guys like Tyus Jones, especially when he's so cheap. Yo, what was this Roto Grinder stuff? I actually want to see this. If you guys can link me or something. I don't even know if you're being truthful. No, I'm actually really curious now. I think D Mitch close to a lock. Yeah, he's pretty close. Is it in their forms or something? All right, guys. I went 5 minutes over time on these short slates. Yeah, guys. Best of luck today. And until next time, peace.